Hey guys, I get asked fairly regularly about what's required to drive in Japan. I get asked about licenses and about cars and so on. The easiest way to get to drive in Japan is to go to the automobile club in your country, take your driver's license there and ask them for an international driver's license. And with that you should be able to drive in Japan. Those licenses actually say on them that they're valid for 12 months. But the Japanese government only recognises international licenses for 6 months. So if you're coming for a short period of time, that will allow you to drive for up to 6 months. If you want to drive for longer, you're going to need a licence. Some countries that drive on the same side of the road and have the same road rules or similar road rules to Japan have a reciprocal deal with them where you can pretty much just get the licence. You just go to the driving centre. So for example, Australia, where I come from, we have a deal with Japan, so we can just go to the driving centre, take our Australian licence, do an eye test and a hearing test and a couple of other little things, and they'll pretty much issue us with the Japanese driver's licence the same day. So it's fairly simple for us. For other people, you'll have to do a test, and the driving tests in Japan are really strict. Most people fail first couple of times, even Japanese people. It's just the way the system works. It's really strict. Doesn't matter how good a driver you are, they do tend to fail people a few times before they let them have the license. I know of one English guy who wanted a license for a 150cc motorcycle, and they failed him 15 times before he finally got the license. So they're pretty strict. Once you've got a license, buying a second-hand car in Japan is pretty cheap. Maybe $1,000, you know, I mean, the second-hand cars here are really cheap, but the cost of maintaining them and owning them is really expensive. They have a thing called Sharken, which is like registration, which is pretty expensive, and every 2 years the car has to be totally checked over and certified and signed off, and that can cost, well, that and the insurance can cost as much as $2,000 for 2 years. So it's pretty expensive. The gasoline's about the same as it is in most countries. It's reasonably expensive. But the other thing is parking. You must actually have a car park for your car before you can buy it. So you actually have to draw a map showing where the car park is, which park is yours in the car park. So you draw one map showing the car park and which park is yours, and then you draw a second map showing where that car park is in relation to the local landmarks, you know, intersections and so on. And you take it to the police station, and the policeman comes and looks at the car park and checks and makes sure it matches with the map, and then they register that space for that car. And then of course you've got to be paying for that space. You can't park on the street, so that can cost, cheapest I've heard of is about $50 a month. The most expensive I've heard of, well, $500 a month, and that wasn't Tokyo. So parking the car is really expensive. But you know, all that can be done. Really, unless, if you're going to be living in the city here, a car is really not going to do you a lot of good, because you know, you're going to have to be paying a lot of money to park it, and then if you take it anywhere, if you want to go somewhere in the car, everywhere you go you've got to pay for parking, and if that's in the city, that's really expensive. You know, that can be like, you know, $10 for 15 minutes. So and the public transport system here is really good. So really, unless you're going to be driving, if you're going to be living in the city, I really don't think a car is justified. It's just too expensive and too much hassle and little benefit. The public transport system, the buses and the trains are excellent. So yeah, a bit of a waste of time really is the car. But anyway, if you want to do it, hopefully those ideas will help you do it.